Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're taking a bit of a detour, a dramatic one actually. We're moving away from the dense academic papers for a moment.
Yeah, we've got a source that's, shall we say, a little lighter.
A little, but we're going to treat it with, full academic seriousness.
Hmm.
Our subject is a philosophical text called Margarita Minds, the Gospel of Tequila Philosophy.
And its primary source material is the lyrics from the song Margarita Mines by Donnie Doom.
Exactly. And our mission here really is to see if we can extract the core tenets, the actual worldview from these lyrics.
Right. It's about how this gospel sort of radically challenges our conventional ideas about success, wisdom, and I think critically, how we deal with stress.
For sure. I mean, if we can actually define a coherent philosophy from a beach anthem, it just proves that, insight can come from anywhere. So let's just jump right in. Verse 1, this is where Donnie Doom sets up a really profound conflict, I think.
It really is. It begins with something we all recognize, right? The aspiration. He says, I had a plan. I swear it was grand. And that phrase, it perfectly captures that sense of commitment, of effort, this belief in a structured path to getting something done.
But that plan, that whole grand plan, it gets derailed immediately. And not by some, epic tragedy, but by a sound. He says, but the blender was louder than the band.
Yes.
And I think that's where it gets really interesting. The band is like the soundtrack to the plan,
Right.
like the organized effort. And it's just completely drowned out by the sound of immediate pleasure being made.
It's like the sound of the ingredient. It's instant gratification, completely overwhelming the marching music of long-term ambition.
Yeah.
The plan doesn't fail because it was a bad plan.
No.
It fails because the thing right in front of him is just louder. It's more compelling. And, the modern world is just full of loud blenders.
That's a great way to put it. And the entry into this new state of mind, it's not graceful at all. It's an accident. Tried my best, but the salt got in my eyes.
I love that detail.
It's fantastic, right? The salt, the very thing that's supposed to make the experience better, is what blinds him. It stops him from seeing that old path.
It tells you that the initiation here is messy. It might even be a little painful. This isn't some planned enlightenment you get from meditating.
No.
It's an accidental, disruptive sort of baptism by salt. You don't choose the margarita mind. It kind of chooses you.
And that disruption leads him to the verse's conclusion. I'm stuck in paradise with Margarita Minds. And that word, stuck, that raises a huge question for me. If you're stuck, are you really free?
That's the paradox at the heart of it, isn't it? I mean, usually philosophy is about seeking liberation, freedom from things.
Right, from constraints.
But this text seems to be suggesting that no, freedom is achieved by being willingly trapped in a state of pleasure.
Yeah.
You give up control over where you're going, but you gain contentment right where you are.
So the goal isn't to move forward, it's just to stay satisfied.
Exactly. It's a liberation into relaxation.
That's a fascinating reframing. Okay, so that sets the scene of this accidental contentment. Let's look at the manifesto itself, the chorus. It kicks off with this idea of effortless abundance. Marguerite Minds, where the limes are free.
And that phrase, where the limes are free, that's basically the whole economic model of this worldview.
Right.
Limes are the key ingredient, right? They take effort, they cost money.
Right.
But if they're free, then the whole need for work, for trade, for effort, it just evaporates. It's a life with zero effort inputs.
Okay, but hold on. Doesn't that make this philosophy kind of exclusive? I mean, who gets to be in a place where the essential ingredients for a good time are just handed to you? That sounds less like a philosophy and more like an all-inclusive resort.
That's a fair challenge for sure. But I don't think the text is claiming this is for people who are, striving. It's a philosophy for being. It's describing a utopian state of mind where the things you need for joy just feel abundant.
So it's a psychological escape from scarcity.
You got it. It's an internal mindset. And speaking of mindset, that brings us to the next line, which is maybe the intellectual core of this whole thing. Thinking deep thoughts by the shallow sea.
This is such a radical idea.
It is. Traditionally, deep thought requires, deep immersion. You have to dive into complex books, struggle with ideas.
The ivory tower.
Exactly. This type says, no. You can have a profound realization while standing ankle deep in the water. The setting is effortless, so the insight is accessible. It's wisdom for everyone.
It's wisdom democratized. You just need some sun and a place to stand.
Right. And the key to unlocking it all, the real synthesis, comes next. Philosophy's better with tequila and ice.
And then wisdom tastes sweeter with a twist of vice.
Which is a total rejection of asceticism, of the idea that you need to suffer or be sober to find truth.
It's so direct.
It really is. It's arguing that the best way to get insight isn't through self-denial. It's through a slight shift in consciousness that comes from the vice, the tequila. It strips away all the anxiety and the overthinking that clouds the simple truths.
So the tequila is basically a shortcut to letting go of the stress that gets in the way. Okay, so if that's how you get wise, how are you supposed to deal with, daily life, the real world? That brings us to verse 2.
And this is an explicit rejection of ambition.
Yeah.
I mean, it's instantaneous and absolute. He says, boss called twice. I let it ring.
No hesitation.
None. The expectation of duty, the grind, it's just dismissed as irrelevant noise.
But this is where I get hung up again. We've established the limes are free, but if you stop answering your boss, you're going to lose access to the actual physical place where the limes are free. Is this philosophy really sustainable?
That is the crucial question. I think the text presents it as a philosophy of momentary priority. It's about prioritizing the experience of right now over the demands of the long term. Donnie Doom is arguing that for a life to be truly lived, you have to have these moments where you just ignore the phone.
And the thing he chooses to prioritize instead, this is the detail that just cracks me up.
I know.
I'm busy debating Jimmy Buffett versus Sting.
It's the intentional elevation of something completely and utterly trivial. He's choosing to spend his mental energy on a fun, inconsequential debate. It is the ultimate anti-productivity statement.
It's like arguing about pizza toppings while your house is on fire. By choosing the trivial, he's showing that in his margarita mind, the professional stakes just don't matter as much as this little moment of fun.
And he justifies it philosophically in the next line. Life's too short for deadlines that bind. He sees deadlines as a form of, voluntary servitude.
Right, they're chains on your time. So the goal isn't to meet the deadline, it's to reject the whole idea of it. And the reward is just more of the same. I'll take another round of those margarita minds.
Precisely. The virtuous act is just to keep the good feeling going.
That sets up the bridge perfectly, where he contrasts what other people chase with what he chases. He says, some folks chase fortune, some chase fame, the usual big abstract goals.
The standard metrics of success, wealth, renown, things that take a ton of work and cause a lot of stress.
But he's not just sitting there. He has a goal, and it's so beautifully simple. I chase the bartender who knows my name.
And that pivot is everything. It redefines success. It moves it from the abstract and global to the personal and local.
So success isn't about millions of people knowing who you are.
No. It's about being acknowledged by the one person who can bring you another drink. It's success defined by service and a simple, immediate relationship. The bartender knowing your name means you belong. Your supply line is secure.
It's a self-contained little ecosystem of success.
And the path to get there is laid out as a direct instruction. This is the practical part. Forget the grind, leave the stress behind, and the promise is right there. You'll find enlightenment in margarita minds.
Which brings us to the final and maybe most actionable instruction in the whole gospel. It's in the last chorus. The twist on the old saying, if life gives you lemons, just swap for limes.
This is the core of the practice. A lemon, symbolizes hardship, bitterness. The old advice is to make lemonade, to work hard and turn the bad thing into something good.
Right, to struggle through it.
But Donnie Doom says, forget all that effort. Don't process the struggle. Just reject the ingredient. Swap it for something easier, something that gets you to pleasure faster. It's a radical rejection of grit.
So you just curate your reality. You don't engage with the hardship. You just change the rules so it's not relevant anymore.
Exactly. And the song ends by solidifying this as a real belief system with a ritual.
And toast to the gospel of margarita minds.
That final act, the toast, confirms that this isn't just a mood. It's a shared truth, a philosophy worth celebrating.
So if we synthesize all this for you, the listener, the Gospel of Margarita Minds is really a complete counter-philosophy to our modern achievement culture. It teaches that wisdom can be found in ease, not struggle.
And that ambition can be a kind of bondage. That being acknowledged by the few people who matter in your immediate circle is worth more than abstract fame or fortune.
It's an intellectual escape hatch that's, both profound and, I have to say, gloriously lazy.
And it all hinges on that one simple rule of substitution lemons for limes. Which leaves us with a final provocative thought. If the difference between a life of profound stress and a life of ultimate salvation is really just a matter of swapping out a sour ingredient for a sweet one, is the only thing standing between a life of obligation and a life of enlightenment just the choice of which fruit you decide to use.